Andy, you've presented a workshop this morning on noise and noise related to wind turbines. You've not done that before, have you?
Not to an event like this. I talk to noise people and I talk to wind people. I've talked to other interested parties, but never a kind of community group like this, so it's been quite interesting.
How do you think it went?
I think it was quite useful. Difficult to know without talking to everybody who was here, but I felt it was very useful to be able to address people's concerns at this stage of the development process. Often I meet members of communities in two situations. Either I'm talking to them on their doorsteps when we do background noise measurements and we're setting up to do those baseline recordings, or at a public inquiry, which is a very artificial situation and much further down the path, when you're really not hearing what people want to ask because it's all controlled by a planning inspector. So I think it's been very helpful to talk to people and maybe answer some of their concerns at this stage. What we did this morning was quite useful in presenting a noise of a certain level and saying this is what it sounds like and this is what wind turbine noise sounds like at that level, and so that people could assess it themselves. It's just unfortunately we couldn't turn it down to sort of the quietest levels which they might hear because of the background noise from the kind of equipment in the hall and the river running past outside, but certainly what they heard was representative of the highest noise levels at any residential property on this site. So I think that will be quite instructive. People can see at an event like this that people are taking noise concerns seriously. It will serve to sort of offset that, you know, this is unnecessary and this doesn't show any consideration side of things. So I'll get a much more sort of benevolent attitude to it, if you like. Not everybody, but some people, you know, people who are concerned.
So today is about helping people to feel heard then?
I think so, yeah. I think that's very important. People need to feel heard, and they need to feel heard for noise reasons. They need to feel heard for other reasons, and I think that helps to, you know, the whole community input on this particular project. It sounds very useful because I think that's really important. Communities in rural areas, communities are very strong, and I think that having a sort of community involvement is very beneficial.
And Francis, you're here from Sustainable South Brent, and I know you've got your own wind project up there. It's already received planning consent, and you're here at the TRESOC community consultation just to hear what's happening. What's your impression so far?
Well, the TRESOC venture is one I fully support, and certainly strikes me from what I've seen so far as a fully viable project. Looking forward to seeing how the wind measurements go, because that's exactly what we're now having to do with our own smaller scale project at Marley Thatch near South Brent. And in the next few months over the winter, we're hoping to stick up a 30-metre mast and actually measure the wind so that we can genuinely see how financially viable it's going to be. But everything we've done so far suggests that this is still worthwhile to take forward.
The project up in South Brent went through without a single objection during the planning stage. How did you achieve that?
I'd love to know what the secret is. I think it's just because we genuinely are a community project. We made that absolutely clear from the start. We consulted at every possible stage, made people absolutely aware of what we were planning to do, and kept people up to date, and have never kept anything under wraps unless it's absolutely necessary. And indeed, if you want to find out more, you'll find it on our website. Every blow, every progress, every delay that happened, but we still got that planning permission, as you say, without any objection, and also without having to go to planning committee. It was that deemed uncontroversial, and I'd like to think all community projects should be treated the same way.
You're County Council, Devon County Council for this area, and you're here at the TRESOC Community Wind Farm Public Consultation event. What do you think of it?
I'm really impressed that there are so many people here. It shows real interest. Everybody has got lots of questions, but they seem really interested and quite positive with the answers they're getting.
And you think it's changed anybody's minds?
Yeah, I would say so. There's been sort of some negative feeling within the village that's sort of been whipped up more by climate change deniers than actually having any facts. And just speaking to people, there was a meeting here last week which was very negative, and it was sort of against wind farms and the need for them. And people have just been saying to me how positive this meeting is, and what a difference it is from last week's meeting.
Hello Tim, you're another Harberton Ford resident. You've been here at the noise workshop and at the TRESOC community consultation event this afternoon. How do you think it's gone?
I think the presentation from the experts was very good. It was very clear, carefully explained, unbiased and rational.
Do you think there are local residents here today who will have had their fears allayed by this event?
I have no idea, because most of the local residents, well, in Harberton Ford, my guess is that because we're in a valley with trees and a river running through and a main road, from what I've seen on the screen, I think that the windmill sound, the wind turbine sound, will vanish into the background. But I can well understand the concerns of people who live closer, particularly those at Tundridge House and maybe the outskirts of Harberton. So I can appreciate their real concern.
Thank you very much.
I'm concerned for the bird life that I think will be destroyed or driven away by the flailing arms of the two great giants. And I'm also concerned about Luscombe Cross itself. I think I'm not against wind farms necessarily. I think they can be beautiful things, but I'm against having two great turbines 300 feet high alongside the sacred space of that crossroads with Luscombe Cross, which is a 14th century wayside cross, the second finest in Devon. And I don't want to see the stillness of that sacred space spoiled by the flailing arms over there.
Well, yeah.
So, Ian, can you tell me what position you hold in TRESOC?
I'm the Managing Director of TRESOC.
Okay, and you're here at the workshop in Harberton Ford,
yes,
looking at Totnes Community Wind Farm.
Mm-hmm.
There was a noise workshop this morning and an exhibition this afternoon. How do you think it's been received by the community?
Well, I was very pleased that we had this noise workshop. It's not usual for wind developers to bring the noise experts into a meeting with the general public. It's a very, very technical and not easy to understand subject. And I think there are the people that are most motivated to ask questions are the people that are most worried. And those fears are fed by a lot of misinformation which comes from various quarters. But I think the important thing is that most of the people who were in the room, I think, were genuinely interested to find out what the answers were. They'd heard both sides, and the fact that they were able to ask the questions directly of an expert, I think, was very, very useful. We're very interested in holding this up as a flagship project in terms of how local community organisations can get involved. Because I do feel that the key to acceptability of wind turbines in the wider public is through community ownership.
So Ollie, you're a local resident. What do you think about this project, and how do you think the workshop and the exhibition has gone so far today?
I think the noise workshop was really good, actually. I think it was really well run by Andy. He answered the questions really well in a very expressive way, and obviously has a lot of authority on the subject, so I think it helped residents to really deal with some of the problems they issue, and noise is the main issue when it comes to wind energy, so I think it generally a positive experience for everyone. A number of other residents within my village are against still, so I think it's just trying to show. Obviously they've been shown one side of the story, particularly I know a couple of residents have been going around and trying to kind of convince others that it's a bad thing for the area with noise and etc. and lots of issues with wind turbines. So I think it's really important that some other people come out and give a positive aspect to the wind turbines, and I think this workshop helped to do that in some respects.